Hi, this is Ishita Datta, a legal intern at Lexis & Company, and today I will be talking about the topic which is the Yes Bank crisis. Yes Bank has been one of the leading private sector banks involved in the business of banking and providing financial services. It was incorporated in 2004 by Mr. Rana Kapoor and Ashok Kapoor. Yes Bank has been among the top 5 private banks of India. It was till the crisis which happened in 2020 when the bank came in some real negative limelight. In 2020, Yes Bank went into serious crisis after the bank bad loans book shoot up and because of some managerial frauds came out in the eyes of the investors and the general public. Currently, SBI owns a 30% stake in the bank, and Prashant Kumar, the former CFO of SBI, is currently the CEO of Yes Bank. So there was a case registered against the Yes Bank founders. On March 7th, Rana Kapoor and Yes Bank came in dual spotlight as a case was registered against Rana Kapoor, the chairman of Yes Bank. He was alleged for fraud and financial cheating regarding the sanctions of loans by Yes Bank to the major big shots and their groups. Mr. Dheeraj and Kapil, who were the promoters of DHFL, were also named in the charge sheet filed. Also, DUVPL, which is said to be promoted by the Rana's daughters, were also involved in this huge scam. So what was the involvement of other firms? So the enforcement director clearly stated that he misused Yes Bank's credit facilities to receive undue monetary benefits for his personal asset creation. Other major firms involved in this scam were Yes Capital, Morgan Credit, DOIT Ventures, RAB Enterprises, etc. The amount of the scam was predicted to be somewhere close to 5,050 crores of rupees. The enforcement director accused him for receiving undue and personal benefits in exchange of providing credit facilities. Also, it was said that Mr. Kapoor was the final controlling authority and hence everything was happening by his orders and under his nose. The final decisions were taken by him for all the transactions and Yes Bank was in complete control of Kapoor during that time. What was the involvement of the RBI in this? It was on 5th March when the RBI officially declared that it was superseding all the top level management and directors for a month because of serious damage in the reputation and the financial position of Yes Bank. After suspension of directors, RBI gave an official statement that it is putting a cap on withdrawal limit of 50,000. Because of this decision, it created a fear among the depositors and stakeholders and the direct customers of Yes Bank. The RBI placed the bank under moratorium and declared that looking at the situation, it was the only option left with them. It future said that to keep public confident in the public sector and in the absence of revival plan, putting moratorium is the only best possible alternative solution left. So what was the use of bank's credit facility for personal use? As per the reports presented by the CPI, Kapoor used to give loans and huge credit facilities to DHFL through Yes Bank, and in favor of that he used to receive major monetary benefits for his personal use and also for many other companies which were directly or indirectly handled by him and his family members. Basically, he was using Yes Bank's credit facilities to lend and favor of that receiving huge money for his personal and family use. So, ignoring the warnings raised on bank's asset quality, Yes Bank was incorporated in 2004 and in 11 years time till 2015, it was among the biggest private leaders in the country. Also in the year of 2016, a global financial service company named UBS raised questions about the asset quality of the bank. As per their report, the bank had lended more than its total net worth, which was obviously very strange. Also, it was lended to companies which seemed to be not able to pay back all the huge credit loans. Even after such warnings from the USB, the bank continued to give large credit facilities and meanwhile also became the 5th largest private sector bank on India. They clearly ignored all the direct questions raised by the USB, and also the thing to understand is that the type of companies to which Yes Bank was financing is the real reason for its crisis. As per a report, almost 1/4 of all the Yes Bank loans were given to non-banking financial companies. construction and real estate sectors, and even the builder lobby. Obviously, these are the most risky sectors, especially in India. These sectors have always been in crisis. Hence, Yes Bank was overexposed to such risk since the beginning. And just after a few years, all lending started to be non-performing as defaults increased and NPA started going up drastically. So what was the impact on the overall banking industry? So hence it can be said that the bank lost out on capital money from its debtors as well as investors. Also, we need to understand that the effect of this crisis over other banks and lenders, especially the private banks. The whole banking industry runs on trust factor. This fallout of Yes Bank can sure create a lot of donuts on depositors and restrain them from investing in other private banks too. It was on 6 March RBI released a revival plan for Yes Bank. As per the plan, SBI could hold 49% of the stake and will hold on at least 25% for the next 30 years. In conclusion, I would like to say that Yes Bank crisis was not just a result of negligence and poor managerial policies. Indeed, it was the mix-up of wrong management intentions, frauds, misuse of public money, and not much interference from the regulators, baseless findings to big corporates without credit eligibility, etc. To avoid such scams in the future, especially in the banking industry, it is very much important to keep the trust of the general public on overall banking sector. Regulators like RBI and SEBI should also have more direct interference in day-to-day operations of banks. RBI can have more strict policies for all the banks, and unbiased audits should be done at regular intervals to keep a check. It can set up a committee to understand detailed analysis of what actually happened with Yes Bank. Banks should also check credit eligibility as well as repayment capabilities of individuals or companies to whom they are lending huge amounts. There can be an internal as well as external audit done twice a year. These are the few points which, according to me, is of utmost importance to avoid such crisis in the future, especially in the banking industry. Thank you so much.